Online. Yeah, okay. So we are online. Hi guys, I will be learning Angular today with our two testers who are learning automation testing and now want to learn some front-end frameworks. We are starting from Angular because we can. All right, we have repository prepared. And Rafał, can you share a screen and we will start from installing Angular and I will tell you some basic about it.
Sure, I don't know if I'm doing it right. Do you see my screen? Screen share. Okay, I have to choose. Yeah, my first screen.
Okay, I can see it.
Yeah, I can see
it.
All right, so the first step of learning Angular is to install Angular. So please do it now.
This will create the app. Do we want routing?
We want to have routing.
We would like to use CSS.
Yeah.
So enter.
It will be enough for the beginning. All right, so we will have Angular working with modules. So we will start with using modules, but then we will drop them because with Angular 16, we now have standalone components, which allow us to do not use modules. It will be a little bit easier, but we will start with this configuration that we currently have. And probably the next step will be to run application with NX. NX is a very nice CLI tool for creating monorepo applications.
Okay, it's installed now.
All right, so we can run it. So we will see if it is working properly.
Let's get into the folder and ng-serve, right? To start the server.
Yeah, probably right.
We would not want to send data. Okay, it's running on localhost. So I'll just refresh that. And that's our web page.
Okay, great. Okay, so please go now to the code and we will see what we have there. All right, so Angular is a framework. It comes with a lot of stuff already prepared for us. So it has TypeScript configuration, it has CSS modules already configured, and probably that's it for now. And Angular as a framework give us a lot of tools to create applications. It has routing, it has already available tools to make Ajax calls with pure JavaScript. We use fetch, and here we have a service for that. It's called HTTP service, and we will be using that in the future. Currently, we'll be focusing on knowing the basics of Angular, how it works. So you can open app folder, and then we will see, yeah, we have here app routing module. You can open that. And here we will be defining roads. Currently, we don't care about roads. We'll deal with later. We have app module. Yeah, can you open app module? All right. Yeah. So modules define what we have in scope, right? So what components this module is using, what other modules this module is using. So we have declarations for components, imports for other modules. If you have external libraries, probably you will be using their modules to use their stuff. Modules define other providers, other services, other components. So it's predefined. You don't have to do that. But we will see that later. All right, so we have app module, which is a module for whole application, and then we go to component. We have currently only one component. It's app component, and component consists of selector. Selector is the name of HTML element when you use it, right? So you have, for example, divs. You have articles, main HTML elements, and Angular is creating components using this same syntax. So if you want to put some component in your application, you are using the name from the selector. So instead of div, you use app root, for example.
So that would be here. There's
Yeah.
app root.
Yeah, that's right. And here you have also other attributes that are created by Angular. It is for Angular to know which components there are, to identify them, and so on. All right. And then we have template. We can use this in two ways. We can create file, like here it have app component HTML, then and then we have a separate file for it. But we can use also inline template, so we don't have to create another file. The same is with styles. Now we have app component, which is separated to three parts. One is JS or TS component part, HTML as template, and CSS for styling. All right. So now we can go to HTML file. Yeah, we have also tests, but we will not be covering that today. All right. I think that we can clear that out. We don't need any of that. So delete everything from here and just leave some text that, yeah, this app is working, for example.
The comment in HTML is something like that. I mean, I don't remember that, so I just...
You had comments
yeah.
Here. Yeah. But we don't need comment. Just plain text. Just plain text.
Okay.
Okay. And we have the information that compilation was successfully done. Let's see if it is working. Yeah, it is working. Great. The one thing, currently Angular is working in just-in-time mode. Angular works in two modes: just-in-time mode and ahead-of-time mode. It's compilation mode, not Angular itself. Just-in-time means that Angular only builds things that are currently needed. It is done for developing purposes. Yeah, that's right. And this just-in-time compilation is should be only used for development. Ahead of time, it means that Angular will build a whole application, build all templates, and do some optimization stuff with the code. And then we will have only the working application that we need. In just-in-time mode compilation, Angular also pushes to browser all the code that is needed for compiling the application. So if there are some changes, the browser needs to compile it, the code that works in the browser. All right. So from this part, I think that it's all. All right, so we have now some template, some component, and now we want to create new components, right? So, because we want to, for example, add some button that is doing something. So we can do it in two ways. We can just create files by ourselves, or we can use schematics that goes with Angular. Angular has schematics engine that allows us to create files, or one file or multiple files. It depends from the schematic that we can also create, or from defined templates. Also, those schematics can modify other files. So we will be using schematics to create components. So maybe Rafał, can you now create a new component for our test application? For now, it can be a button.
So I will have to shut down the application, and
no, you don't have to. You could open just another terminal, but
okay,
it's okay.
That's right. So it's ng.
Rafał?
Yes.
Okay. Some problems with connection.
Okay, so we can type ng generate component and the name of the component, then just send it. And something happened. We have button. 4 files for button.
Okay. So we have now a new component. If you go to the button component TS.
Button component TS here.
Okay, so we have now a new component that has selector set to up button. If we want to use this in our app component, we need to use this up button thing. All right, so what we have in template? In button template.
Template here.
Button component
right.
HTML.
HTML, okay.
Okay,
we
button
have a paragraph.
okay, okay. So it's fine. Okay, can you show us if anything changed in the application?
No, not yet.
Okay, all right. So yeah, we didn't use it. It didn't show here. It's fine. So now try to use this component in app component.
Here?
Uh,
I mean, I don't know where should I put it.
in HTML.
Here? Right?
No, in app component HTML.
App component HTML. Okay.
Yeah.
So how would we?
It's like with div, right? So if you want to use a div, you write.
So we would just type app button.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're saving, and the button works, but the button works, and yeah, it works because we don't have a button here, right? We have
Yeah,
the paragraph.
it's okay. For now, it's okay. Can you go to the app module?
Mhm.
All right. So here you have in line 11 button component, right? So when you were using schematic for creating component, it already knew that this button needs to be declared in the module. So each time you want to use a component in some place, you need to declare that you want to use it. So when we use modules in Angular, you need to declare this component in a module. All right. So there is a one way. You can also delete it from here.
Just like that.
Yeah, just delete it and import, and also the import. Okay, and now go to the app component TS.
Should I save it first?
Yeah, yeah. And now see what
happens. Error. App component.
Yeah. What is the error? Can you?
Error occurs in the template of component.
Okay,
component.
it's all, right? No, it's a little bit more. Yeah. So now you have the information, right? So app button is not known element. If you want to use component, you need to define, like I said before. If it's not defined, Angular is telling you so, that something is wrong with the component that you want to use. So there are three ways to provide this component for Angular, the information. So the automated one was via module, and now we can also provide this component within this component declaration. So after selector, you can write probably declaration, like this was in module.
App module.
Yeah, declarations.
Okay, so just.
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
We have to type. That was button component, right? But there's still something happening. Object literal may only specify known properties, and declarations does not exist in type component.
So declaration does not exist here, right? So we will see in the documentation. Maybe go to the documentation about components. We will see what is there. We'll be learning Angular from the basics of Angular from the documentation. All right, so okay, we have component. All right, so we have here options we can provide.
Would those be imports?
Okay, yeah, it looks like that. Can we find some example of imports? Okay. Can we try just like this? We can just rename it to imports. Okay. See if that.
No.
Okay.
Did we forget
So
standalone?
it works only with standalone components. All right. So we can just use standalone components, but we will not be doing this now.
So
Okay.
we back to the app module. Yeah.
Sorry.
So we go back with this component to the app module. Yes.
Not yet. We have another option. We can go to the button folder and create module file.
So button module.
Yeah.
Yes.
We can just copy everything from module. Yeah. Probably there is a module schematic for creating module, but we will not use
So
it.
that would be
All right.
button component.
Yeah.
Right.
It don't need imports, and it don't need bootstrap, right? Because it's just components module.
So
yeah, delete that.
Yeah.
We don't need this, and
Routing module.
delete whole import declaration.
Okay.
Also providers and bootstrap. We just
Okay.
need declarations.
And now
yeah, button module.
Okay.
Okay. And now we have one other thing. We have declarations, and this module needs to export something. So we have now, we need the definition for export. So after declarations, create a new property. Export. Probably this is exports, yeah. And this is also an array. So we will put their button component. So this module declares button component and also exports button component. And now we can go to app module. And here we have imports, so we can import whole module, button module. Yeah. And see if that changed something for us.
No. Imports is only valid on a component that is standalone still. But export class app component.
We have probably error in app component. Go to app component TS. Yep. Yeah, you need to delete import from here. Yeah, it just left.
The page works.
Yeah. So without standalone components, we have two options. We can declare component in the module that will be using that component, or we just can create module that declares some component or components and exports them, and then we can use this module to import it in another module, right? So we will be using this module thing now. Then we will switch to standalone components. But first, just modules. All right. So we can now create component. We can use this component, and we probably want to just pass some information between components. We just don't want this button to display this static information, right? So go to the button component, and we want to use here some information from outside, right? So we want, first thing, we want to have a button here. Yeah, and if you want to use some variable, first we need to define it in component, and then we can use interpolation that will transfer the information from variable and display and through compilation displays it here. So all right, go to the button TS.
Button component TS?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so create the variable in the class property in the class here. For example, label. No, in class. Here you have the decorator component. Yeah. Just
Class?
label. You have
label.
class,
Okay.
yeah?
Label.
Yeah. Label.
Do we write a type of the label, like string?
We can, yeah. It's not needed, but we can, yeah. And
no
assign
initializer.
it some string.
Like
Okay.
that.
Okay, it can be this right now, and we want to use this label in template, right? Okay, so go to the documentation and pass the interpolation phrase in search.
String values.
Yeah. Okay, so here you have information about interpolation, how you can use variables. So you just need to pass variable between two curly braces.
So we would just do that and write label here, right?
All right. From the documentation, it seems that it should work.
And yeah, button label.
Okay, great.
It does work.
Okay, so now we probably want to display some information when we click this button, right? So okay, we need from the documentation information how we could do some actions with no, there is no actions. We want to somehow do some things with when something happen, right? So we have templates, we have bindings here. Go to the bindings, see what we can, what is no, in the menu on the left side we have bindings. Binding, property, attribute, class, event binding. Oh yeah, we want to have event binding. Okay.
Respond to user actions such as keystrokes, mouse movements, clicks, and touches.
Yeah, it's what we need, right? So we want to have something done when we click on this button. All right, so we have, it's simple, right? So if you want to have a click on a button, you just put click between braces and then pass the method. Okay,
so let's copy that.
Let's try.
And do we want our own save?
Yeah, we need on save, right? So everything that we can use in this template needs to be defined in component TS, right? So we defined property label. So now we have probably to define on save method
In the class.
in the class, right?
On save. So what would we want it to do?
Maybe for the beginning, just console log something.
Okay, it's compiled.
Okay,
So let's get back to the
try.
page. Let's open the console and click the button. The button is pressed.
Okay, we done something. Okay. Probably we want to do what every tutorial is learning people. We want to have a counter. So we want to have some property that handles a number. And when we click a button, we want to increase that number. So can you try do it?
I mean, I'm not sure where to put the number first, the counter, because if I do it here,
yeah, okay.
reset.
You just need to then use this property like yeah, we when we were learning we didn't use this. All right, so when you have a class has instance, and this is special property that references to the instance of this class. So when you want to use display, maybe we will do this way. Console log the label. So to but this way, no. This dot label.
This dot label.
Yeah. So yeah, this represents the instance of this class, and label is the element, the property of this class. So it works this way. You can now check if this is working, if this label is displayed in the it is.
Does.
Great. So now you can do the same for a number. So you can create a counter, for example, property, and we can then use this counter to
so I would just do it here.
Yeah.
So it would be 0.
Yeah.
And here we would pick our counter.
Yeah.
Oh, it's this.
Yeah, you
add that automatically.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. Okay.
And we have to console log that.
Or just display in template.
In label?
Not in label, but anywhere. Just in template, right? So you can display this counter.
I'm not sure how to just type display.
No. Like you displayed label in the template, right? So you used interpolation, so you can use the same thing for counter.
Like here, right?
Yeah.
You would want some div and like that.
Yeah.
And let's save that. So let's try. It does work.
Yeah. Great. So currently, Angular is working in the mode that always watches if something's changed. It's called change detection strategy. Angular has two change detection strategies. One is the default that currently we are using. So when anything happens, like user is pushing a button or clicking somewhere or just doing anything, Angular is checking if anything changed in all components, and if it did, it just re-renders the components, right? So you don't have to do anything to tell Angular that something changed right now, right? So you just change things, and Angular is taking care of it by itself. It's great, but for bigger applications, it can cause because of loss of performance, right? So if you have a lot of things going on simultaneously, then Angular is it is not performing very well. So you can have some clutters, drops in frames below 25 or even to 1 frame per second on or even less. So for bigger applications, you want to have control over when Angular should check if something changed, right? So then we use the other strategy. It is called on push. So you need to tell Angular when something happens. Of course, there are some other things, but like observables, but we will not be talking about them right now. So go to the components, to our components, TS, and in component decorator in line 6, we add new property, change detection. So maybe we will, change detection. Yeah. Okay. I don't remember if it is array or no. It's just
check once and check always.
Yeah. Check. So you use this change detection strategy dot on push. So you can write
like
this
here or
here as value
on push.
Yeah. All right.
And what
and
check
in
once?
button do the same thing. Yeah, it's here. Okay. So let's try if it is working right now. How it is working right now.
It's working the same currently.
Okay. So go to the application.
You mean app module?
In app component, do
app component,
the same thing.
The same exact thing?
Yeah.
So I just copy that.
Yeah, that's right.
Cannot find name.
Yeah, because you need to import it.
Okay. So
in button it was done automatically.
Yeah, it's imported. It still works the same.
Yeah, it works the same because of one thing. We are using a button. Go to the button component. Go to the template.
Template, yeah.
Yeah, and change button to div. Okay.
So we've got.
Yeah.
It still works. Just it's a div and not a button.
What this should do in this?
it should do nothing.
But there's still a click event, right? So it works.
Yeah, but it shouldn't. I don't remember why.
Let's just delete that and nope.
I mean, what should do just that change detection we create?
Yeah, when we change to on push, we should tell Angular when to do the check. It works automatically only for interactive elements like buttons and
And doesn't it work with every click?
I'm not sure right now. It shouldn't work probably with a simple click, but it may. All right. So it works with clicks. Okay. We can check it another way. We can create a global method to modify this property. But okay, if it works right now, it's fine. We are using the strategy that is restraining Angular from checking every other single move of user on the page. Probably with other examples, we will have the result that I wanted to show you. But for this moment, we have everything we wanted to do. Not everything, but almost everything. All right, so we now have the ability to create component. We can do some data manipulations, simple data manipulations. Okay, and probably one thing that left us is the passing the data between components. So if we want to pass some information, for example, the default value of for counter, right? So if we want to have counter set from the beginning to some other value that is defined in component. So we can use decorator that is called input. You can go to the documentation and yeah, there is input decorator. We will it's probably on the left. Yeah, it was there. Input, and you have on the left API, the first one, right? So
okay. So
it's decorator. You have icons on the left, and each icon tells you what it is. All right, so we have the input decorator. All right, so it has also some options like alias and required, and how we can use this input element. All right, so we decorate some property, and then when we use component, we can pass some data. For it, right?
So we have our component. That
Yeah.
would be the input, right? So this
Yeah,
class
like
has two types of input where we type the bank name and the account ID.
yeah, and simple property like we have now, right? We have now two simple properties, label and counter, and now we want to change counter to maybe we will do initial count or something like that, right? So we can create initial count.
Here.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's only camel case.
And what would we type here? That would be a number.
Yeah,
again.
just number, and it should be input, right? So you forgot about the decorator.
The input like that.
Yeah, but
and
braces.
That would be
No, yeah, just no. You don't have to pass an alias. We don't need an alias. You just need braces. No. See
Sorry,
once again the documentation. It's the first example. The above one. Bank name.
Bank name.
Input
Oh,
bank.
right. Okay. I got it. Sorry, that's function. And that's the problem. Like, cannot find name input.
How it is? Yeah, you need to just import it from Angular core.
Okay.
Okay. No initializer. We can set it to 0. All right, and
that's not.
Yeah, and we can pass it to counter for right now.
Like.
Yeah.
That?
Yeah, like that. All right. So if we do not pass, it should be 0, and this should work as expected. Right? Yeah. Okay. So now we want to change this initial counter. So we need to go to the app component and define app component template, right? Yeah, that's why we will switch to inline templates. Go to app component HTML.
App components, right?
Yeah, and you need to just pass the input. No. Initial,
right,
yeah, initial count is not a component, right? It is an input for.
Wait, that was here, right? That's initial count.
Yeah. Go to the documentation.
I'm here.
Yeah. And see how it is used.
You mean this?
Yeah.
So that's bank count bank name. So that's the class. So we have to use the button component.
Yeah. So you have defined. You just need to add this property in app component HTML. No.
No, it wasn't right.
Yeah. It's too much for today. Yeah, button.
Just the class, right? Because
No.
bank account.
See
it's
that
not the same.
bank account is the selector, right?
Yeah, that's the selector. So we have to use this.
Yeah.
This is our selector.
That's right.
So
And
here
you
we
already
have
have. It's in line 3.
Right, it's just above.
Yeah.
And
too much information for today.
yeah.
All right. So just pass the input.
Bank name. So we have to use this, right? Initial account.
Yeah,
This is our
that's
bank
right.
account, to say so. And we have to type
Just
a number.
pass in information. Let's say it's 10, right? Because
10.
we want. Okay.
That's an error. App component HTML. So we're here.
Yeah. You have the error.
Type string is not assignable to a number, so we just have to remove that. And we can't. We have to change the component to
no, it's
string.
yeah, it should be a number, right? Because we want a number.
Mhm.
But there are few ways to pass the input between components. This way, like you have here, it's a string, right? But if you want to pass something else, you need to use square brackets. You just need to use them on attribute name, right? So initial count must
Right
be
here?
in
The
whole initial. Yeah.
Yeah, just let me
Yeah.
And here's number. It's string again, but it passed.
Okay.
The app compiled, so
Okay. So
initial count didn't work.
Okay.
Anyway,
It's 0. All right. What we have wrong here? Can you just remove 0 from here? Yeah, because it's not default probably. And exclamation before double dot.
Here. Before.
Before the type.
So
no, not the exclamation. Yeah, I forgot how it's called.
I don't know what to type.
Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark.
Hey.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry.
Does it change anything?
Not exactly. I mean.
Okay.
We don't have a number.
It's none. All right. I didn't use Angular for a few months, so over a year. Let's go to the documentation. Let's see how we can pass a number via input. We have here something.
Just that.
No. Yeah, it's just a string.
So should we change this to a string? Will it work? Or I don't know.
No, we need to pass a number, right? So we need a number to be passed. Okay.
What if we parsed int?
No. It's just need to be. Okay. We did this right. So braces, we pass the value. Okay. Okay. All right. So probably I understand what is happening right now. Can you change in the count in the 14th line. Okay, so now in 12th line, change this incremental count to be set to 0, like it was before.
Like that?
Yeah,
right?
just 0, right? Yeah, and delete this. Okay. Instead, okay. Initial count. It should be. All right, so maybe just put on save this counter equals initial number plus 1. It will be the same all the time, right? Plus 1. But no, just plus 1. Right? Because we are setting the counter. So yeah, just see how it works. Yeah, it's 11. It will be always 11, right? Because we passed
But
10.
Initially that's 0.
Initially it is 0.
Because we're passing the counter here.
Yeah.
Instead of the initial counter.
That's right. Okay, so now we need to learn how to use inputs with properties and how to set them. And probably we will do this the next time because we are heading to 1 hour on this stream, and probably it's enough information for today. We will learn some new things the other day, probably. Do you have, guys, any questions for right now?
Not yet. I mean, that's a lot of information to swallow, but I think we really did learn something today.
Yeah, that's when you explain this, it's not that hard as I thought.
Yeah, so for right now, just learn from the documentation about things we have been talking about today. So about change detection, you can read about it. You can read about inputs, about components. Probably you can look a little bit about standalone components, and we will try to use them the next time. But now just we'll leave the information as it is, just to sink in and for you to have a time to digest it and have a fun with it. And then we will go to other things and do maybe some more advanced stuff with the data manipulations and events and passing the data between components. We just learned only simple passing from parent component to child component, but probably in the future we will want to have communication in the other way, so from child to parent, and probably we will do that. And the next step will be maybe some observable with RxJS. But we will start from the basics. All right, so probably we will be hearing about next meeting through the weekend. We will pass the information via our social channels, and probably we will be hearing us on Monday or Tuesday. We will be learning the basics with our new. We hope that it will be our new show, Devincit Angular, and that's it for today. Thanks, guys, and we will be in touch.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks.
Have a
See you
nice
next
day.
week.
Bye.